So this will be the first of a concurrent series that I'll be running with that of Dark Souls, but it will go into effectively the Epstein files. Not just that, we'll also touch upon Eyes Wide Shut, its connection to the Epstein files, the Epstein case, and of course its tie-in with what I call the Ophiachian cycle. This cycle of alchemical transmutation on a global scale, and of course an alchemical transmutation of the species itself. To be very succinct about it, it's effectively the intellect, or the Moloch, the Baal, the Yahweh, if you will, the storm and war deity, the very will, the animalistic will, adversarially devouring that of the soul, that of the primordial breath of God, the true God, the quantum observer, if you will, or, if you're so inclined, the dreamer. So it's going to go into all of that. I'm also going to go into the mindset of Epstein and the mindset of those even above him within that of the hierarchy. And really we're going to discuss why the rituals of transgression. Now we're going to discuss that on multiple levels. The primary two levels that we will discuss that on is that of the control mechanism. Obviously, it establishes fraternities of mutual complicity in terms of criminal acts and criminal complicity. And then secondly, there is a more esoteric and metaphysical maximalist viewpoint to this, which is that, of course, these transgressive rituals in a way, almost siphon energy from the goodness within the world. They invert the world. They destroy the vision of the world. They shatter it. And this is, of course, seen in the Kabbalah as the Shivrat HaKalim, the shattering of the vessels. The human being is the vessel of the breath of God. That energy which has cascaded down from another source, a higher source, a more transcendental or primordial source, and has of course filled the vessel of man, has created man himself, and that is what they seek to destroy. And why children? Because children are closer to God. They are innocent. They are goodness. So therefore, they are the primary targets of this blasted cult. So to begin, for a new world to arise, the old must burn. This is the primary teleology behind the release of these files. Indeed, we are not suffering from a lack of information, but too much information that is leading to hyper-lucidity within this nightmare of the sacrilegious economy of sacrifice and phoniness. We are being coaxed into viewing the rot so clearly that we become paralysed by the scale of it. Power assuredly is maintained at a certain point, not by hiding the secrets, but by flaunting them, to prove a systemic invulnerability. This is a global black mass initiation ritual. Fyodor Dostoevsky stated, quote, "The best way to keep a prisoner from escaping is to make sure he never knows he's in a prison." Truly, in an era of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act, but in an era of total exposure, the truth is just more noise within a saturated pool of depravity and decadence. The transition from a culture of secrets to a culture of transparency does not necessarily lead to a culture of truth. It can lead to a culture of indifference, in fact. Hence, everything is public, but nothing is ultimately visible. In the flickering twilight of our collapsing age, a dark grimoire, has been unsealed, and its name is the Epstein files. Yet we must not mistake the breaking of these seals for a dawning of the light. It is a cruel sorcery, a masterwork of clandestine shadows designed to prove that even when the sun is held up to the rot, the world will choose to remain blind. This is the global Black Mass, a mass initiation ritual that leads not to enlightenment, but to an inverse awakening, an engineered descent into the cold realization of our own bondage. Behold the two realms of our existence. The realm of the Grey Sages, those denizens who drink only from the poisoned wells of mainstream media. Here, the great scandal is a mere ghost story told in hushed whispers to keep the children quiet while the monsters continue to feast on us all. It is a controlled narrative, a flickering candle in a vast cavern of silence. In the realm of the digital abyss, where the chronically wakeful drown in a deluge of revelations so constant they become mundane static and schizoid kindling. In this abyss, the truth is not hidden. It is buried under the weight of its own excess until it becomes a weariness of the soul. The release of these files was no victory for the righteous, nor a triumph for the valiant. It was a vile power play, a middle finger from the high priests of the Cabal. By laying bare their transgressions, they are not confessing, but are in fact boasting with the greatest of glee. They proclaim, "Behold the abyss, look at what we are, you cannot stop us, and you cannot even comprehend us." This is the manufacturing of consensus through controlled disclosure. By showing us the horrific machinery of their world, or at least glimpse it, they generate a certain brand of complicity. To know the truth and to still remain paralysed is to accept the life jacket of our current subjugation, fearing the unknown waters of true freedom more than the familiar chains of the dock. Worst of all are the false prophets among us, the grifters who weave illusions because they feel the truth is not horrible enough. By forging shadows and photoshopped lies, they poison the only well we have left, the truth. They grant the monsters the shield of misinformation, turning what would be a holy crusade for the innocent and for justice into mere political ammunition for the petty wars of the surface world of the iceberg thinkers. This induces a profound learned helplessness, where the masses see the evil but feel the weight of the Cabal is too great to move against them. The tapestry of our society has been woven so tightly with distraction and poverty that the common man is often too broken to weep and too weary to act. We stand at the precipice where the truth is revealed, yet the world remains perpetually still. The only path forward is to refuse the memory hole, to hold the flame of remembrance against the encroaching darkness, and to cast out the liars within our own ranks who would trade our soul's integrity for a moment of fleeting attention. Hannah Arendt stated, "The ideal subject of totalitarian rule is not the convinced National Socialist or the convinced communist, but people for whom the distinction between fact and fiction and the distinction between true and false no longer exist."